I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks for being here. We are going to begin in the Middle East, where the 60-day deadline to end the war with Iran came and went without a breakthrough. President Trump said he would not be seeking an extension of the Memorandum of Understanding or interim ceasefire that expired on Monday.
This morning, Iran's top negotiator says the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until the U.S. meets the conditions of that interim deal. All this as the president now threatens to bomb a U.S. ally, Oman. He's also still dismissing those concerns about conditions on the USS Abraham Lincoln. NBC's Bianca Fascini joins us now with more on all of this. Bianca, good morning.
Hey, Savannah and Joe, good morning. The U.S. and Iran remain in a stalemate with no deal yet, and it's unclear how much longer this could all drag on for. But as we wait for progress, we're now seeing how the conflict is impacting relationships with some of our allies. 60 days later, and still no peace agreement between the U.S. and Iran.
They want to make a deal, but they're not going to make the kind of a deal that I feel is necessary. It's very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon.
Sign the MOU?
It's signed, yeah. It's signed.
Both countries signed a memorandum back in June and seem even further apart now. Meanwhile, traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has slowed to a crawl, keeping gas prices high and the GOP on edge ahead of the midterms.
Everybody in the world has an interest in the Strait of Hormuz being open for commerce. And so I believe we'll be getting into a new phase of that where we can calm this down. That will hold gas prices down to planet Earth.
Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law and special envoy, says a deal is still on the table.
He'll make the right deal when the right deal is ready.
Though the deadline for an agreement comes as the U.S. faces rising tension with key allies. The president said he would bomb Oman if it gets in the way of a deal with Iran, according to an interview with Fox News. He also recently announced the U.S. would scale back joint military exercises with South Korea.
They said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next-door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran? That's strange.
Now, on top of gas prices troubling consumers, new polling from Reuters and Ipsos shows that a majority of Americans are concerned the war with Iran will last for a long time. That same survey shows that the president's approval rating is the lowest it's ever been at 33%. Savannah and Joe.
All right, Bianca, thank you so much.
Well, turning now to Decision 2026, with Election Day just 2.5 months away, voters are heading to the polls today to cast their ballots in primaries in 4 states as the midterm elections move into a pivotal stretch.
3 of the states we're focused on today: Alaska, Florida, and Wyoming. Voters there are choosing nominees for key statewide and congressional races. And in a special election in California, voters will pick a replacement to fill former Congressman Eric Swalwell's seat. He resigned from Congress over sexual assault and misconduct allegations.
NBC News reporter Gary Grumbach joins us now to break it all down. Gary, good morning. So let's start in Alaska. This is where a hotly contested Senate race is one of the biggest draws today. What are we watching for there?
Yeah, this is perhaps one of the most unique races we are watching today. Alaska has an all-party ranked vote choice system, which means that the top vote getters from either party move on to the general election in November. And 2 of the top vote getters in the Republican Party could be the same name. They could be Dan Sullivan. Senator Dan Sullivan is running for re-election against a Dan J. Sullivan. And the sitting senator has called foul, saying that this is a political move and that Dan J. Sullivan is doing this for political purposes. Perhaps he was a Democratic plant. Dan J. Sullivan says that's not true, but this race is certainly going to be interesting for that reason nonetheless. Alaska Congresswoman Mary Peltola is also running for the seat as a Democrat.
Gary, let's talk about Florida. Today's primaries are sort of the first test of a controversial new congressional map there. What are the key races taking shape in the Sunshine State?
Yeah, Republicans redrew their maps in Florida, leading them to gain they have now 24 seats of the 28 total seats in Florida. So that's a significant increase from the 20 that they had before the maps were redrawn. And so members of Congress that are Democrat, including Jared Moskowitz, Kathy Castor, Darren Soto, are all sort of up against the wall here. They're running in areas that voted overwhelmingly for Trump in 2024 and are likely to lose their seats come November. There is one open seat that is up for grabs after Congresswoman Sheila McCormick resigned after being indicted for COVID fraud. So that's a seat that could go potentially either direction.
Gary, in Wyoming, voters are choosing a nominee to succeed retiring Senator Cynthia Lummis. What is at stake in that race?
So this is all about the impact of President Donald Trump's endorsement. We've seen it work very effectively in the past. We'll see where it goes in Wyoming here. President Trump has endorsed Congresswoman Harriet Hageman for the Senate seat there in Wyoming to replace the retiring senator there. But she's facing off against a political candidate who has some serious backing in the state of Wyoming because he's sort of a brand name there. A small-town mayor named Sam Mead, whose uncle was a longtime governor of the state of Wyoming, is running for that seat as well, guys.
Gary, finally, we should talk about California. Two Democrats are competing. It's a special runoff to try and finish Eric Swalwell's term for the last few months here. Remember, he was running for governor, resigned from Congress after sexual assault and misconduct allegations came to light. He's denied those allegations. But what could this race tell us?
Yeah, this is going to be a state senator, Aisha Wahab, and Melissa Hernandez, who's serving on the board of a Bay Area Public Transportation Authority. The super PAC, the impact here is going to be what we're watching. AIPAC, which is the pro-Israel super PAC here in the U.S., they've endorsed Melissa Hernandez and thrown a ton of money, millions of dollars, into her campaign. Now, this is only just to fill out the rest of Eric Swalwell's seat, which goes until January. Once in November, they're going to have to face off again. These two candidates are going to face off again for the full term for the next 4 years.
All right, Gary Grumbach, thank you so much.
Meta is back in court today for a pivotal trial. It comes after the social media giant lost a big case in New Mexico. Is ordered to pay nearly $1 billion. Jurors there found the company liable for knowingly harming the mental health of children.
This time, attorneys general representing 29 states will argue the social media giant behind Facebook and Instagram of knowingly creating an algorithm that is addictive, especially for teenage users.
Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas to help us break it all down. Danny, good to have you with us. We know the opening arguments are scheduled to begin today. What do we expect to hear from both sides, from both Meta and the state attorneys general here?
From the state attorneys general, you're going to hear an argument that this case is about deception. It's about lying. In other words, these companies used their power to deceive consumers like you see right there in our B-roll or whatever that's called, that they looked at, that they were designed to be addictive. It's basically a design defect case. Meta is going to stay consistent with testimony we've heard before that these applications are designed to be useful, not addictive. And that is a difficult line to thread because, after all, every company's biggest dream is that their product is addictive, not medically or chemically addictive, but something that people have a high demand for. So the companies have a difficult line to walk here.
Danny, so we mentioned, Joe just said a moment ago, there was this New Mexico case. There's actually quite a few of these suits going on across the country. The New Mexico one is where we just already have kind of seen the impact here for Meta. How do these all impact each other, this whole chain of all these, as these floodgates kind of open on lawsuits like this?
Yeah, great question. The New Mexico case is totally different. Different state, different laws, different parties. But even though those decisions have no legal effect, they have a massive spiritual effect. They have a massive incentive effect on the companies, because I'm certain their lawyers have gone to these executives and said, look, these cases are bellwethers. And if they're not going our way, it's something to think about with our litigation strategy. You can spend all your money litigating these cases, or you may have to make a business decision looking at some of the verdicts and how big they are and how much some of these plaintiffs are seeking. This could be an extant threat to you and maybe the industry.
You know, Danny, when we look at that New Mexico case, Mark Zuckerberg did not actually testify. He is expected to take the stand this time around. What do you think of that strategy? How could that play out? Pros and cons?
It's not so much a strategy, but New Mexico, being a state court, didn't really have the power to subpoena an out-of-state resident. When you're talking about a federal court in California, where Zuckerberg presumably lives, it's a lot easier to exert jurisdiction over him. But it's not that unusual to use what's called a de bene esse testimony for trial. You're looking at it right there. That's just a videotaped deposition. But deposition is a bit of a misleading word. It is trial testimony to be played at trial as if it were at trial. And the one thing I found is that it kind of bores jurors more than having actually Zuckerberg in the room with you and observing him and watching him. But in general, it's valid testimony. Ideally, you want Zuckerberg himself, the guy, in the courtroom.
Interesting. All right, Danny, good to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Well, the summer of relentless heat is once again cranking up the temperature.
Yeah, this morning, 69 million Americans are waking up under heat alerts stretching across the southern half of the U.S. While in the Midwest, those severe storms continue to wreak havoc across several states. Deadly flooding remains a serious concern. In Oklahoma, a lightning strike sparked a large fire at a natural gas facility.
We're going to get a look at your full forecast in just a minute. But first, we're going to get out to NBC News national correspondent Aaron Gilchrist, who is covering the hot weather for us from Atlanta. Aaron, good morning. So what is the temperature out there right now? I know it's still early.
It is still early, and that really is the fortunate thing right now. The temperatures, we're doing pretty well here. It's 74 degrees. It feels like 74 degrees right now. You may see a few people on the trail behind me running by and doing some exercising as well. This is the time to be outside if you have to be outside today in so many places. Get all that exercise done early because the heat is really going to kick in as the day progresses. We know here in Atlanta, we're expecting to have that feels like temperature right around 100 degrees by this afternoon. But there are other parts of the southern tier of the country, really stretching from parts of California all the way to Florida, where we could see temperatures, again, in that 100-degree range. You think about some parts of Arizona, they're looking at maybe 115 degrees today in that area. It's going to be really humid in so many places along the Gulf Coast as well, going into Florida. And so the thinking is you need to be prepared for this heat dome that we're dealing with, because the reality is, Savannah and Joe, this heat dome is going to stay in place for some time. We expect to have these really scorching temperatures for at least several more days in so many places.
Yeah, the heat dome feels like a permanent feature right now of the United States this summer. We've also seen these severe storms taking a toll on Indiana this week. We've been talking about that for days. How else are people being impacted by the weather today?
Yeah, you mentioned some of the things that we're seeing. You take, for example, in Oklahoma, where we know there were storms and a lightning strike hit that oil tanker facility that you mentioned, and I think it was it was a lightning strike that really hit 3 tanks in that area, and you can see the flames and the smoke just billowing into the sky. There was a natural gas facility actually near Tulsa, with those tanks catching fire, creating that black smoke, creating some air quality concerns for folks there. We know as you head out to Colorado, there were storms in that area as well that led to some flooding in a burn scar area. At least one person killed in that incident. And then, of course, you mentioned Indiana, where we saw days and days of just those big storms, heavy rainfall in so many areas. We know that the state has had to open these temporary shelters for about 1,000 families across Indiana who are just going to, in the next couple of days, hope to get back into their homes to see what they can salvage from the storms that have rolled through there, Joe and Savannah.
So, Aaron, for those of us who are hanging on to these last few weeks of summer, if you're in an area where you're getting this heat, how can we stay cool if we do want to go hang out outside?
Well, we talked about getting out early, right? If you need to do things outside, you want to get out early and get that done. If you have to be out during the day, during the real heating of the day in these places, you want to think about all the things that we know help us to stay cool, right? You want to wear that lightweight, light-colored clothing. You want to make sure that you have your water with you. Turn that around so you can see the NBC News Now logo. Have your water with you so that you can hydrate. You want to be drinking water every 15, 20 minutes or so to make sure that you're staying hydrated. It may look like a silly hat here, but I tell you what, this is the sort of thing that is going to block the sun for you, right? It's going to create that sort of shadow feel around you to block that sun. You want to make sure you have good sunglasses with you as well, Joe and Savannah. These are all ways that you can try to beat the heat if you have to be out in it. But getting inside, into air conditioning, that really is going to be the #1 way to keep yourself cool and safe.
Okay, you're working that hat. It's not silly. I'm into it.
Always stylish and always promoting NBC News Now. Aaron Gilchrist, good to have you with us. Stay cool. All right. Let's get more now on the record. High temperatures that are expected across the South. Time for your morning News Now weather.
I like this little hat tip there. At the end.
Where's your hat?
Aaron, help me out. I don't even have a water bottle.
In the air conditioning.
Come on, I'm in the air conditioning. You're right. I don't need it. All right, guys, we've got a whole lot going on, as you just heard Aaron mentioning. The heat is one of those things that's going to get your attention, and we've also got some storms to talk about. So let's start with the temperatures. The heat risk, really expansive today. No surprise here. Wherever you see those oranges, those reds, those purple, those are locations that we could potentially see some heat-related health impacts today. So 67 million people are under under major risk. And then you look a little closer to the purple, that's extreme risk. So across parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, much of the Southeast included in this. So we are concerned about those, again, heat-related impacts through the day today. Here's what we're looking at as far as our temperatures: high 90s, if not triple digits for the actual temperatures, and just about everybody into the triple digits for your feels like temperatures. We've got 94 in Atlanta today, feels like 98, 97 in New Orleans. It'll feel like 111. Jacksonville also feeling like 111, even warmer for the feels like in Wilmington. You top out at 98, but you will feel like 113. Tomorrow, no different. It's more of the same. We really are stuck in this sauna here, even as we get into tomorrow and beyond. We've got temperatures well into the 90s still in Baton Rouge, Memphis, Charlotte, Dothan, Dallas. You're going to be into the triple digits for your actual temperatures. And then, of course, you guessed it, we've got to add in that humidity, and it feels like 100 plus in a lot of these spots. Baton Rouge, your warmest, is going to be 106 on Thursday. We've got Corpus Christi, though, 110 on Thursday, 107 for Dallas. I mentioned that we've also got some thunderstorms and some concerns for flooding across specifically parts of the plains and Midwest. It is just kind of ongoing and unsettled there. We'll see that severe risk for Nebraska and Kansas, stretching across parts of the plains. And then tomorrow, much of that rain starts to work across the Ohio Valley, and we'll get a little bit of it across the Northeast as well. But again, we're still going to see the potential for stronger storms across the plains. Wind gusts are going to be our main threat, but we could potentially see some hail and some, of course, isolated tornadoes. And then, guys, we're still concerned about that flash flooding across parts of the Midwest from Chicago to Kansas City and down to Rolla.
All right. Important safety information there for people to keep an eye on, too. Thank you, Angie. Well, the trial for the man accused of ordering a hit on rapper Tupac Shakur back in 1996 is officially underway in Las Vegas. Nearly 30 years after Shakur's death, Dwayne Keefe Davis could face life in prison if convicted. Both legal teams gave opening statements yesterday, and prosecutors began their case by calling witnesses to explain what happened in the hours leading up to the shooting. NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin has the latest.
Prosecutors laying out a roadmap of murder, nearly 3 decades since the death of rap icon Tupac Shakur.
Tupac is gunned down in a drive-by shooting from a white Cadillac in an act of revenge.
Prosecutors say Dwayne Keefe Davis, the sole living occupant inside that Cadillac, orchestrated the killing.
Now, let's be clear. Dwayne Davis did not pull the trigger. But what he did do was plan the retaliation for the beating of his nephew.
Retaliation for this brawl, captured on surveillance video hours earlier inside a Las Vegas casino, authorities say. You see Tupac and death row executive Suge Knight beating up Davis's nephew, Orlando Anderson, police say, over a stolen necklace earlier that summer. Prosecutors using Davis's own words against him, playing a series of recorded interviews and quoting from his own memoir.
In the book, he says, them jumping on my nephew gave us the ultimate green light to do something to their.
The 63-year-old was arrested in 2023 and has pled not guilty. His defense team argues his past statements were not reliable and Davis was known to BS.
What you're going to find is that the state cannot prove to you beyond reasonable doubt the claim that Keefe had anything to do with a first-degree murder.
A former Vegas officer testifying this was Tupac's answer inside the ambulance when asked who shot him.
And did he ever respond?
Yes, he responded, no, we'll take care of it. So something like that.
No, we'll take
care of it.
Now it's up to a jury to decide who's responsible for one of the music industry's greatest unsolved murders.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.